Latakia, Latakia is the principal port city of Syria as well as the capital of the Latakia Governorate. Historically, it has also been known as Lāådḵcē. In addition to serving as a port, the city is a manufacturing center for surrounding agricultural towns and villages. According to the 2004 official census, the population of the city is 383,786. It is the fifth largest city in Syria after Aleppo, Damascus, Homs and Hama, and it borders Tartus to the south, Hama to the east, and Idlib to the north. Cape Apostolos Andreas, the northeastern tip of Cyprus, is about 68 miles away. Although the site has been inhabited since the 2nd millennium BCE, the modern-day city was first founded in the 4th century BCE under the rule of the Seleucid Empire. Latakia was subsequently ruled by the Romans, then the Umayyads and Abbasids in the 8th–10th centuries CE. Under the rule, the Byzantines frequently attacked the city, periodically recapturing it before losing it again to the Arabs, particularly the Fatimids. Afterward, Latakia was ruled successively by the Seljuk Turks, Crusaders, Ayyubids, Mamluks, and Ottomans. Following World War I, Latakia was assigned to the French Mandate of Syria, in which it served as the capital of the autonomous territory of the Alawites. This autonomous territory became the Alawite state in 1922, proclaiming its independence a number of times until reintegrating into Syria in 1944. Etymology. Like many Seleucid cities, Latakia was named after a member of the ruling dynasty, first named Lāåddzīcīa on the coast by Seleucid I Nicator in honor of his mother, Laodice. In Latin, its name became Lāådzīcē. The original name survives in its Arabic form as Al-Latakia, from which the French Latakia and English Lattakia derive. To the Ottomans, it was known as Turkish Lāẓkīya. History. Ancient settlement and founding. The location of Latakia, the Ras Ziyara promontory, has a long history of occupation. The Phoenician city of Ramitha was located here, known to the Greeks as Lāŭdzīcē. The city was described in Strabo's Geographica. It is a city most beautifully built, has a good harbor, and has territory which, besides its other good crops, abounds in wine. Now this city furnishes the most of the wine to the Alexandrians, since the whole of the mountain that lies above the city and is possessed by it is covered with vines almost as far as the summits, and while the summits are at a considerable distance from Lāådzīcē, sloping up gently and gradually from it they tower above Apamea, extending up to a perpendicular height. Roman rule. The city was an important colonia of the Roman Empire in ancient Syria for 7 centuries. It was called Laodicea in Syria or Lāådzīcē, and was the capital of the Eastern Roman province of Theodorias from 528 AD until 637 AD. A sizable Jewish population lived in Laodicea during the 1st century. The heretic Apollinaria was bishop of Laodicea in the 4th century. The city minted coins from an early date. Early Islamic era Crusader, Ayyubid, and Mamluk rule after failed efforts by Bohemond of Antioch to capture Latakia from the Byzantine Empire. The city was taken in 1103 by forces, under the command of Tancred of Hauteville, a veteran of the First Crusade and acting regent of the Principality of Antioch. Following the defeat of Antiochian forces at the Battle of Harran in 1104, the city was reoccupied by the Byzantines. However, they would again lose. The city, Despite a treaty in 1108 with Bohemond promising to return Latakia to the empire by 1110, it was firmly under the control of the Principality of Antioch. This would remain the case, with the city serving as the primary port for the Principality until after the loss of Antioch itself to the Mamluks. In circa 1300, Arab geographer al-Dimashqi noted that Latakia had no running water and that trees were scarce, but the city's port was a wonderful harbour full of large ships. In 1332, the Moroccan traveller Ibn Battuta visited Latakia in his journeys. Ottoman rule in 1888, when Wilayat Beirut was established, Latakia became its northernmost town. In the Ottoman period, the region of Latakia became predominantly Alawi. The Turkmen also consisted a significant minority. The city itself, however, contained significant numbers of Sunni and Christian inhabitants. The landlords in the countryside tended to be Sunni and Orthodox Christians, while the peasants were mostly Alawi, like the Druzzes, who also had special status before the end of World War I. The Alawis had a strained relationship with the Ottoman overlords. In fact, they were not even given the status of millet, although they enjoyed relative autonomy. French Mandate period. In 1920, Latakia fell under the French Mandate, under which the Alawite state was established. The state lasted until 1936, when it was merged with the Syrian Republic. Modern era, all but a few classical buildings have been destroyed, often by earthquakes. Those remaining include a Roman triumphal arch and Corinthian columns known as the Colonnade of Bacchus. An extensive port project was proposed in 1948, and construction work began on the port of Latakia in 1950, aided by a $6 million loan from Saudi Arabia. By 1951, the first stage of the construction was completed, and the port handled an increasing amount of Syria's overseas trade. In August 1957, 4,000 Egyptian troops landed in Latakia under orders from Gamal Abdel Nasser after Turkish troops massed along the border with Syria, accusing it of harboring Turkish communists. A major highway linked Latakia with Aleppo and the Euphrates Valley in 1968, and was supplemented by the completion of a railway line to Homs. The port became even more important after 1975, due to the troubled situation in Lebanon and the loss of Beirut and Tripoli as ports. In 1973, during the October War, the naval battle of Latakia between Israel and Syria was fought just offshore from Latakia. The battle was the first to be fought using missiles and ECM. Syrian civil war. During the Syrian civil war, Latakia had been a site of protest activity since March 2011. The Syrian government claimed 12 were killed there in clashes in late March, leading to the deployment of the military to restrict movement into and out of the city. Hundreds of Syrians were reportedly arrested, and by late July, activists in Latakia were telling foreign media they feared a more violent crackdown was coming. Protests continued despite the increased security presence and arrests. Several civilians were allegedly killed in confrontations with security officers during this early period of the siege. On the 13th of August 2011, the Syrian army and Syrian Navy launched an operation where more than 20 tanks and APCs rolled into the Alawi stronghold. The city was also attacked by the Syrian army on the 14th of August 2011. Activists claimed that 25 people died during the attack. Latakia is the home of Russia's largest foreign electronic eavesdropping facility. Khmeimim Air Base is an airbase near Latakia converted to use by the Russian military in 2015. On the 24th of November 2015, Turkish forces shot down a Russian fighter plane over Latakia. One pilot was killed and the other rescued by Syrian military and brought to Khmeimim. Compared to other Syrian cities, Latakia has been mostly spared of brutal war that has occurred elsewhere in the country. As of 2016, many locals continue life as usual, contrasting to the daily bombardment of Aleppo. For instance, geography. Latakia is located 348 kilometers northwest of Damascus, 186 kilometers southwest from Aleppo, 186 kilometers northwest of Homs, and 90 kilometers north of Tartus. Nearby towns and villages include Kasab to the north, Al-Hafa, Diamama, Slinfa and Qadaha to the east in the Al-Ansariya mountain range, and Jabla and Banias to the south. Latakia is the capital of the Latakia Governorate in western Syria, bordering Turkey to the north. The governorate has a reported area of either 2,297 square kilometers or 2,437 square kilometers. Latakia city is located in the Latakia district in the northern portion of Latakia Governorate. Climate. Under Köppen's climate classification, Latakia has a hot summer Mediterranean climate. Latakia's wettest months are December and January, where average precipitation is around 160 millimeters. The city's driest month, July, only has on average about 1 millimeter of rain. Average high temperatures in the city range from around 16 degrees Celsius in January to around 30 degrees Celsius in August. Latakia on average receives around 760 millimeters of rainfall annually. Although rare in winter, snow can fall mixed with rain or by itself as light snow. Demographics. One of the first censuses was in 1825, which recorded that there were 6,000–8,000 Muslims, 1,000 Greek Orthodox Christians, 30 Armenian Christians, 30 Maronite Catholics, and 30 Jews. At the beginning of the 20th century, Latakia had a population of roughly 7,000 inhabitants. However, the Journal of the Society of Arts recorded a population of 25,000 in 1905. In a 1992 estimate, Latakia had a population of 284,000, rising to 303,000 in the 1994 census. The city's population continued to rise, reaching an estimated 402,000 residents in 2002. Latakia was a historically Sunni city. However, the Alawitization process under Hafiz al-Assad saw many Alawites from the rural hinterland move to the city. Latakia is 50% Alawite, 40% Sunni and 10% Christian. However, the rural hinterland has an Alawite majority of roughly 70%, with Christians making up 14%, Sunni Muslims making up 12%, and Ismailis representing the remaining 2%. The city serves as the capital of the Alawite population and is a major cultural center for the religion. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, large numbers of Alawites from the area emigrated to the country's capital Damascus. Of the Christians, a sizable Antiochian Greek population exists in Latakia, and the diocese in the city has the largest congregation of the Greek Orthodox Church of Antioch. There is also an Armenian community of 3,500 in the city. The entire population speaks Arabic, mostly in the North Levantine dialect. Within the city boundaries is the unofficial Latakia camp, established in 1956, which has a population of 6,354 Palestinian refugees, mostly from Jaffa and the Galilee. Economy. Latakia has an extensive agricultural hinterland. Exports include bitumen, cereals, cotton, fruits, eggs, vegetable oil, pottery, and tobacco. Cotton ginning, vegetable oil processing, tanning, and sponge fishing serve as local industries for the city. The Côte d'Azur beach of Latakia is Syria's premier coastal resort, and offers water skiing, jet skiing, and windsurfing. The city contains 8 hotels, 2 of which have 5-star ratings. Both the Côte d'Azur Hotel and the Acute Meridian Latakia Hotel are located 6 kilometers north of the city. At Côte d'Azur, the latter hotel has 274 rooms and is the only international hotel in the city. Compared to other Syrian cities, window shopping and evening strolls in the markets is considered a favorite pastime in Latakia. Numerous designer-labeled stores line 8 Street, and the heart of the city's shopping area is the series of blocks enclosed by 8 Street, Yarmouk Street, and Saad Zalol Street in the city centre. Cinemas in Latakia include Ugarit Cinema, Al-Kindai, and a smaller theatre off Al-Mutanabi Street. Culture, festivals, museums. The National Museum of Latakia was built in 1986 near the seafront of the city. It formerly housed the residence of the governor of the Alawite state and was originally a 16th-century Ottoman Khan known as Khan al-Dukhan, meaning the Khan of smoke, as it served the tobacco trade. The Khan historically served not only as an inn, but also contained private residences. The exhibits include inscribed tablets from Ugarit, ancient jewelry, coins, figurines, ceramics, pottery, and early Arab and Crusader-era chain mail suits and swords. Sport. Latakia is the home city of 2 football clubs. Tehran Sports Club was founded in 1947 and Hatin Sports Club was founded in 1945. Both teams are based in the Al-Asad Stadium, which carries a capacity of 35,000 people. Just north of the city is the Latakia Sports City Complex, which was built in 1987 to host the 1987 Mediterranean Games. Latakia tobacco. Latakia tobacco is a specially prepared tobacco originally produced in Syria and named after the port city of Latakia. Now the tobacco is mainly produced in Cyprus. It is cured over a stone pine or oak wood fire, which gives it an intense smoky, peppery taste and smell. Rarely smoked straight, it is used as a condiment or blender, especially in English, Balkan, and some American classic blends. Education. The University of Latakia was founded in 1971 and renamed Tishreen University in 1976 to commemorate the victory Syria claimed in the October War of 1973. The university has an enrollment of 25,660 students, 57% of which are females. The city houses a branch of the Arab Academy for Science and Technology and Maritime Transport. A school in Latakia, Syria is named after Jules Jamal, an Arab Christian military officer who blew himself up in a suicide attack on a French ship. Local infrastructure. Landmarks. The modern city still exhibits faint traces of its former importance, notwithstanding the frequent earthquakes with which it has been visited. The marina is built upon foundations of ancient columns, and there are in the town an old gateway and other antiquities, as also sarcophagi and sepulchral caves in the neighborhood. This gateway is a remarkable triumphal arch at the southeast corner of the town, almost entire. It is built with 4 entrances, like the Forum Iani at Rome. It is conjectured that this arch was built in honor of Lucius Verus, or of Septimius Severus. Fragments of Greek and Latin inscriptions are dispersed all over the ruins but entirely defaced. Notable points of interest in the nearby area include the massive Saladin's Castle and the ruins of Ugarit, where some of the earliest alphabetic writings have been found. There are also several popular beaches. There are numerous mosques in Latakia, including the 13th-century Great Mosque and the 18th-century Jadid Mosque constructed by Suleiman Pasha Azem. Latakia has consulates general of Finland and France, and honorary consulates of Greece and Romania. Healthcare, transportation. Roads link Latakia to Aleppo, Beirut, Homs, and Tripoli. The main commercial coastal road of the city is Jamal Abdel Nasser Street, named after former Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Lined with hotels, restaurants and the city museum, the street begins in central Latakia along the Mediterranean coast and ends at Hittin Square. For the square, it branches southwest into Al-Maghreb Al-Arabi Street, south into Atazar Street, which continues south to form Baghdad Avenue. The main north-south road, branching into Beirut Street and Nadim Hassan Street along the southern coastline. For the southern portion of Jamal Abdel Nasser Street branch off Al-Yarmouk Street and Al-Quds Street. The latter, which ends at Al-Yaman Square in western Latakia, it continues west into Abdul Qadir Al-Husseini Street. North from Al-Yaman Square, Syria Avenue, and south of the square is Al-Uruba Street. Syria Avenue ends in Al-Jumhuriyah Square, then continues north as Al-Jumhuriyah Street. Much of the city is accessible by taxi and other forms of public transportation. Buses transport people to various Syrian, Lebanese, and Turkish cities, including Aleppo, Damascus, Deir ez-Zor, Palmyra, Tripoli, Beirut, Safita, Hims, Hama, Antakya, and Tartus. The luxury Garagat Pullman bus station is located on Abdul Qadir Al-Husseini Street, and at least a dozen private companies are based at the station. On the same street is the older Hob bus station that operates a depart-when-full basis to Damascus and Aleppo. Local microbuses run between Al-Yaman Square and the city center, as well as between the station on Al-Jalal Street and the city center. There is also a microbus station with buses departing to Galat Salah ad-Din, Qadaha, Kasab, and Jabla. Latakia's train station is located on Al-Yaman Square. Kemins differ Syrians-operated services, including 2 daily runs to Aleppo and 1 weekly run to Damascus via Tartus. In 2005, approximately 512,167 passengers departed from Latakia's train station. The Basel al-Assad International Airport is located 25 kilometers south of Latakia and serves as a national and regional airport with regular flights to Sharjah, Jeddah, Riyadh and Cairo. The port of Latakia is also a link in 6 organized cruises between Alexandria, Izmir and Beirut. In addition, there are irregular ferry services to Cyprus. In 2005, approximately 27,939 passengers used the port. International relations. Twin towns. Sister cities: Sousse, Tunisia; Mersin, Turkey; Constanța, Romania; Rimini, Italy; Gilan Province, Iran; Genoa, Italy. Bibliography